All right, welcome to Lookout Podcast special episode with Tim Khadzhi
Khadzhi. Yep.
from JK Boots. Are you
Yes.
current owner? Are you
Yeah. Yeah. So
current owner of JK
me,
Boots?
my dad, and my brother were three owners together.
Oh, that's so
Yep,
cool, dude.
yep.
Family business.
Yep. Mhm.
Man, and you guys been in the boot business
Yeah, like
Since-
20 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
since 2006. Yeah.
2006. That's when things got kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the origin story is super cool. I can just dive into that
If you want, dude.
want me to. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
because I watched a little bit of it on your guys' webpage, and
Yeah.
your dad has got the coolest voice in the world.
He
by
does.
the way.
Every time we do a piece of content with him, it's always like people just love it. And
dude.
he's got a little bit broken English and stuff, but I think people like that. It's very authentic.
Yeah, and it flows right,
Yeah,
man.
and
Like
it flows,
he's like super patient with his words, so he doesn't like try to like just
Fill in and put gaps and stuff. He just talks
Yeah.
what he means. He says what he means. Yeah.
Dude, and like
Yeah.
before you kick off real quick,
Yeah.
like what I really enjoyed about that is that he said, "Oh, I'm gonna forget. I took a note when I was
Yeah, let's pull it up. Yeah.
yeah, integrity and honesty.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
like the staples of the business, right?
Yes, and so true. And it's not only in business; it's just life. And the more like authenticity and integrity, and when we're authentic about our company and like about our goals, and we're honest. So like I can even describe how that applies. My brother and my dad's like 50% retired, and so he's still there often, and he's like tuning up machines and helping and training and like doing things that it's like in his DNA.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like strategy or stuff like that, he's kind of taking a back seat because he's getting a little older and kind of wants to be a full-time grandpa.
Oh,
And
dude.
so for me and Will, like integrity and honesty, how that translates to us, authenticity is our goals. Like we set out, we're like we're gonna make the best possible product. Like that's what we think about, we talk about, we like breathe about. Like how can we make the best possible product, and then how can we make it super easy to get? Because I feel like I'm not from fire, obviously, and so I have these like third party eyes, and so when I look at firefighters trying to get boots, it just seems like it's so hard sometimes. And it's like, okay, fit, what kind? Okay, are they at my local store? Are they not? Like online fit sheet. It's like, oh my goodness,
especially when you first get into it, dude.
yeah,
and
exactly,
Just
because
kind
you
of
don't know anything. Yeah.
What? I just need a pair of black looking.
Yeah,
logger boots,
exactly.
you know?
And you don't really know anything. And so I remember having those conversations with my brother Will a lot, and we always talk about like, okay, we know that this boot is like awesome, and we actually, we are always trying to make improvements. Like, and I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But the way that, like you said, that integrity, honesty, like authenticity, the way that translates today is we are just like so laser focused on how can we make the best possible product and make it super accessible and like easy to get. Because as a consumer myself, when I buy other things, dude, you might want something, but if it's hard to get it and it's like complicated and you don't understand, you almost don't even want it anymore, because it's like so hard to get sometimes. So
You get kind of exhausted.
it
with
gets exhausted, So,
Yeah,
anyways, yeah. So, I can totally share our origin story. Super cool. So, my parents came to America in 1994, March of '94. They came from this former Soviet Union. So, Soviet Union collapsed, and it was like kind of collapsing. And my parents were believers; they were Christians, and the Soviet Union was persecuting Christians.
Oh.
And so, because the Soviet Union was very like anti-God, anti-religion, all that communistic, very atheist. Anyways,
What-
and yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, and your dad in that video talked about the control too, like that.
Oh, huge,
Did not
huge.
like believers. He is what he put.
yeah,
Is that what he
but
said?
even like so especially believers, but then even like regular people, not to get too much on a tangent, but like,
Go ahead,
dude,
brother.
we wow, like America's amazing. And to give a practical example would be today, anybody if they want to can, go start. You could start a business. You can even start a little side hustle, be a contractor for something. You can, dude, heck, kids can grab a lawnmower and go walk and, mow lawns, right? You can move anywhere you want to anytime. You can leave the country pretty much anytime you want to and pretty much go almost anywhere. Maybe, if there's some countries on a list, I don't know about that. Maybe you can't go to if there's something going on or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, we're in Missoula right now. I could go to the airport, get on a plane and fly to France and I could be there, in 10, 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
That lifestyle is so we take for granted. The Soviet Union, what it was like, start a business? What? No, you can't. What
Yeah.
is that? What do you mean? How does that? What are you talking about? There is no businesses. It's all government run and owned.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
is
like
it kind of like we give you boots? You don't need boots.
exactly,
We don't need to
exactly.
make boots. We'll give you the boots, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your job is working for the government. Everybody works for the government. Nobody works for like private businesses.
Yeah.
Like in today's day and age, like so I have employees. The employees, they work for me. I pay them. I'm ultimately responsible for them. They answer to me for the pay, right?
Yeah.
And they also work at will, you know. So like you can, I mean, some states, yeah, most states are at will state, but like in Washington, right? You can quit or be let go, whatever, at any time because
Yeah.
it's just at will. So for whatever reason, right? So it's very free, and it's a relationship between the employer and the employee. Okay. Well, not like no, not in the Soviet Union, my friend. No, you work for the government, and you better show up. You know, and that's your only source of pay, and you do exactly the job that you're given and what you're told, and you can't just go like, oh well, I'm gonna quit, and then I have this idea, and I'm gonna do a local service business for my community. No, there's no business licenses. There's no That's not even a conversation.
Brutal.
My grandpa, who's 89 today. Yeah, he was born 1936, 1937. He tells a story about how he was the first guy in his town to buy a horse.
Whoa.
That's insane. Look, so
That's right.
when he was in his 20s, right? So that's like the 1950s. Why that's so crazy? Because you couldn't just buy a horse. You couldn't just go buy a car. You couldn't just go buy a refrigerator. You know, like you just couldn't.
Yeah.
It either was available, maybe you got lucky, you knew somebody somehow. Like the bigger cities had that a little more available, but smaller towns, no way. Or like grocery store, like the bread line thing. That's
Yeah.
true. You know. So, anyways, so like when my dad in the videos talks about how grateful he is to be here, that's coming from like an honest place and a very real, authentic place because he would tell us stories about how, dude, you go to the grocery store. Okay, there's bread for the day. Awesome. Let's get in line. They run out. Sorry, they ran out. Hopefully, come by tomorrow. Like that type of level.
Yeah.
In big cities like Moscow or Kiev, they would have more stuff because that's where the media is, and they take videos and pictures and newspapers of like those cities. And the Soviet Union government at the time, obviously, they want to look good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. On the
So
national scale,
of
right?
course, 100%.
Yes.
So they do that stuff,
Yeah.
But all the smaller towns, cities where most of the actual population lives, no, it's not like that at all. So much crazy stuff like that, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so anyways, my parents, so my parents got married in 1989, and my mom was a seamstress already, so she was working for a factory that would sew. There was this type of coats that were really popular back then, where they were like leather and they had fur lining on the inside, and so she would like cut patterns and sew those together. So she was really good at that, and so she already understood this process. And then my dad, he did 2 years mandatory military service that like everybody did in the Soviet Union, and in Russia still today they do that. And so he did that in from 1986 to 1988, and then met my mom, and then they got married in 1989.
Oh, nice.
And when they got married, they moved to a republic of the Soviet Union called Moldova, which now that's a country. But the Soviet Union used to have all these like little countries inside of it, right? So kind of like we have states, same idea. So they moved there, and in 1989, and then my dad got started working for a shoe factory, and was making like higher end men's and women's like dress, casual, like very handmade. Like some people use the word. It's not quite bespoke, but like that word is kind of tossed around. It's like detailed,
Oh,
cute,
gotcha.
cutesy,
Oh, yeah.
and so super handmade. So they lived there for like 5 years, and in 1994, do you know how what's going on in Ukraine right now? The part where like Russia just came in and kind of is trying to annex this part of Ukraine, and they're really trying to take over the whole country. But
Yeah.
in 2014, they also did that. They like annexed Crimea, right?
Oh, yeah.
So similar situation where they wanted to annex a part of Moldova, and the term for that historical event is called Pridnestrovia in Russian. And so that was when the Russian military like came in and started stirring up drama, and then there was like Moldovan national whatever, just basically a war breaks out. And Yeah, like really crazy. Imagine you're sitting in your kitchen table and tank rolls by.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that level.
dude.
And my parents' house, they owned a house at that time. It got shot up. My oldest brother, one time my dad shared a story how they were picking cherries and somebody just starts shooting at them. He like grabs my brother who's like 1 or 2 at the time. They jump to the ground. They like crawl away, like
Oh
crazy,
man,
crazy stuff.
yeah,
We like Americans like don't know what that is. We're so blessed that
yeah.
we don't know
So
what that is.
blessed, man.
So lucky.
100%.
And things like that happen around the world all the time. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Anyways, and so what happened was Bill Clinton was the president, and at that time, that administration, and the Russian military had kind of like given a window for all the civilians to kind of like get out of there, which was nice.
Yeah.
There was also like a million like little miracles, but my brother, my dad had a brother who was already living in America, and at that time with immigration, you could do like a call, and you could say, "Hey, I have a family member who's wants to come to America. He does XYZ. Please, can you like help make this happen?" You can like make a call for him. So my parents traveled to Moscow, got interviewed, and we're like, "Okay, well, why do you want to go? What do you know how to do? What are your skills? What are your abilities?" And I think they went to two. They went to two separate interviews, and they were granted political refugee status.
Dude.
So yeah,
Well, and they could have got rejected from the Russian side, right?
they
Like,
could have got rejected from the Russian side, but they did not.
oh
Yeah,
man, like
yeah,
you said, miracles, right?
miracle.
Dude.
Total miracle. And if my dad didn't have a family member in America, I think that would have probably been a rejection. But because he did, and there was like this unique opportunity, and they have skills like they're like they have a like trades skill work, like
Yeah.
seamstress work and like cobble shoemaking stuff, like that's ultimately something that you know how to do, like it's an ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were granted political refugee status. So March like 14th 1994 or 15th 1994, plane ride Moscow to Spokane, and
Man.
through New York through JFK, which was
Dang.
funny. And recently, I was with my dad at JFK Airport, and I was like,
Had he been back since?
he hadn't been to JFK Airport since then, at
Oh
least,
yeah.
and
Dang,
and I was
dude.
like, man, last time you were here was like 30-something years ago, He's like, yeah, that's right.
Dude.
So that was crazy.
Yeah, weird feeling for him, I bet.
I'm sure, yeah, and yeah, so they came and they were like, very taken care of, like very fast, like right away. They were provided a level of housing, like that's like really nice. But my parents were the type of people, and I think that the immigration topic is like hot right now and has been for the last few years. But
Yeah.
back then it was different because the immigrants that were coming, especially from the Soviet Union, it was seen as like have just been given the greatest opportunity like of our life. Very similar to the immigration time period of like, remember like Ellis Island,
Yep.
like the early 1900s, like that type of vibe, where it's
Totally.
like
Just so thankful to be
so thankful
on
to be
American
here,
soil,
like
right?
like we got a new life,
Yeah, dude.
and so that was like the vibe. And my parents, there was like a whole wave of Soviet Union immigrants in the early 90s and mid 90s,
Oh, nice.
that were coming because they were escaping the Soviet Union. And so the vibe and the attitude of those people, and because I know those people and I know that community well, because I grew up in that community.
Yeah, it's family.
It's family, and the vibe and the whole like thing is like, praise God, we're so grateful, like especially now with the war in Ukraine,
Dude.
because it's like, man, if we didn't come, like we would be there, and our kids would have to probably be fighting right now.
That's the scariest
And
thing,
that's
right?
a scary thought. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
man.
scary thought. So that would have been me, as an
Yeah.
example, right?
Totally.
So
But-
just
and I
yeah.
heard like not like no choice. Like hey,
no choice. Yeah. At this point, there's no choice.
yeah. You're military age.
Yeah,
Come with
exactly,
us.
exactly. And like the only exception would be like if you have like 4 children or something, which not everybody's got 4. You might have 3, but hey, that's not good enough,
Yeah.
right? Which you and I both know that's like BS.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Jesus,
Nobody
yeah.
wants to go die in a freaking war.
Yeah, especially you don't want it. You
Yeah.
have no interest in.
Yeah,
man?
exactly. Yeah, which I could totally. I went to Ukraine in 23. I can share
Oh, you
about
did?
that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Anyways, so my parents come to America. They're given like, temporary housing, and they were given like food stamps as well. And this is a funny story. And so, my dad, before he came, he had a friend who was working in Spokane at another boot shop. When Nick's Boots was like super small and it was like a couple owners ago, it's like, was tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
There was this Slavic guy was working there, and he told the owner, he's like, hey, this guy coming from my dad, you need to hire him, And so that's kind of was like a little connection. And so my parents land in America. They're given food stamps, and they went to the grocery store, like the first or second day after landing, and like they didn't know how to use them. They were confused. Yeah. They were like, "What? How can this possible? That it's like free? Like, how does that work?" Yeah. Anyways, and 1 week after my dad landed, he already was working a full-time job, and he actually rejected the food stamps because he just didn't feel like good doing that. He felt like that was
he didn't earn it, right?
Didn't earn it, and like it was dishonest, because he's working and he doesn't want people to like. He doesn't want to be a burden like to society, and that was his like mentality.
Yeah, totally.
And that's very honorable, that's just like who he is.
Yeah.
And then so they got off that. My dad started working full time. I think my mom eventually picked up a job as well, like very soon after. So they came. They had 2 kids already. My 2 oldest siblings. And a couple suitcases, and that was really it. And there you go, from nothing, like from zero, started.
Yeah, man.
And
what inspiration, dude! Like when I saw that video, like I was a little familiar with the story, but not like as intimate. And now I'm learning a lot more talking to you. But like just watching that little quick video on your webpage, like dang, dude,
man,
like seriously, like
it's
nothing.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, literally from zero. Actually, you could almost argue negative because not only are they zero in finances or experience in this country, but like they don't know the language, the culture's new, the laws, the rules, the kind of way of life is new.
Yeah.
And while it's new, at the same time, it also feels very almost like I always wanted this because they lived in oppression, and so they always wanted a sense of this freedom, and so. It's familiar and foreign, like at the same time. Oh, very paradoxical, very, very interesting. Very interesting experience.
Yeah.
And I've just listened to already millions of stories from my uncles and my grandparents and my own parents, and it's just so crazy. So, anyways, they kind of just start this like American life, and it's great, and things are going good, and they're excited. And a few years later, they were able to buy a house with cosign with my dad's parents, and then they took over the house completely. So they had a house. My older brother was born. I was born. And then, my dad always had this dream to have a business. He always wanted this, like, he always had this passion. And specifically, he wanted to do it with his kids. So he always wanted to have a business with his kids. That was always, like, his, like, heartbeat. So, 2006 came along, and there was an opportunity to buy a shoe repair business in Hillsboro, Oregon. So that's like a little suburb outside of Portland. And he just found this, I think through like word of mouth, like the shoe repair shop that was for sale. And it was for $10,000. And that was equipment, machinery, and take over the lease and like all the little material and stuff in there, which 2006, that was a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money today.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So he did it. He took the risk. And he also bought a house over there, and we were going to move over there. And that whole thing just ended up totally collapsing.
Because
the
economy.
The economy crashed.
Oh, dude.
We lost the house. We had to foreclose on it. The business was not working. It just was slow. It just wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. And back then, that was before the days of Facebook and Google.
Yeah, man.
And
the internet sucked back then.
Yeah, dude. It was nothing. Yeah. And so, it just didn't work. And so that was like a huge, like, very low point for my dad's life because this was like, this was what I wanted. I thought this was right. Like, take risk, take chances. You're supposed to do stuff like this, and it just all failed.
Probably having to pray a lot on that, man, because you're thinking like things are aligning, like this is I'm on the path.
Exactly.
Right? And then,
he even shares like he felt feelings and emotions like God, you totally like misled me, like felt betrayed, because he had like dreams and visions, things he would write down, and then it all just crashed and burned, and I think all of us have been there at some point in time.
Yeah, man.
And that's like a tough place. That's tough. It's like really dark, and you can either spiral like out of control, or you can, I don't know if I want to say grow out of it, but you can like mature in this darkness and get out of it over time, like,
totally.
On your own.
Yeah, work your way out of it.
Yeah, work your way out of it because you kind of have to like figure it out. You have to learn, it takes humility, and it takes like crushing. You have to, you're getting like you're getting just.
And the pressure, right? Like
pressure, man.
Because you know, like how it feels before kids and after kids. Like before kids, it's like it's way easy to gamble on stuff. Like you become a smoke jumper.
What risk?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
risk is there? It's just me.
Exactly. If I don't make it as a jumper, not a big deal.
Like big deal, you know. Yeah. And that's so true, you know. And anyways, packs up everything that he has over there, comes back to Spokane, and he kind of just still was like, man, maybe we should just try again. You know, because my mom also had this ability to do tailoring, and that we hadn't done that yet. Like we were just doing shoe repair in that Oregon business.
Oh, gotcha.
So they come back to Spokane, and they on a credit card they found a lease and bought like supplies and stuff to fix up the lease on a credit card. It was like $2,000 of supplies. They open up shop, get some sewing machines and stuff, and my mom starts working full time, covering the business. My dad got his old job back just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
I was 5 or 6 years old. I was in 1st or 2nd grade. And my mom starts working full time, like 9 to 6, covering the business. And so that meant that she would drop me off at school sometimes. Sometimes I would walk with my older brother, Will. And then I would totally be by myself for the rest of the day. So me and my brother, Will, we'd walk home together. You know, we were just kind of totally independent. Yeah. Because my mom has to, like, take care of the business. And, like, little by little, something started to come together. We started to kind of scrape our way out. The tailoring thing was pretty good. Like, it started to get pretty good, and it started to get good, and it started to get better, and it started to get nice, you know?
Yeah, because back then it was word of mouth mostly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's super slow.
And so it's slow, you know, like, I think the first 2 weeks, my mom didn't have, like, a single customer.
Oh, that had to be awful.
And
feeling,
then, of course, yeah.
Oh.
You know, like, you know, you're reading the Bible and praying,
yeah,
you know,
exactly. That's all you do all day.
That's all you could do, you know, all day, right? So yeah, then shoe repair kind of was attached on to our Spokane business.
Oh, nice.
And we did that for like a few years, and I don't remember the year. It was probably 3 or 4 years after coming back to Spokane. My dad then turned on like full time. He had no other job and like was full time in the business, and things were like pretty stable. We were kind of rocking and rolling pretty good, you know, compared to how we were. Yeah. Tailoring was busy, shoe repair was busy, but it was 100% dependent on my parents. You know, they were working from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like that's hard. You know?
Yeah, putting that sweat equity.
Exactly.
You know,
and my older brother Will got involved with the business when he was like 14, as soon as he could, and was like learning how to do shoe repair. I did the same thing. I followed right in his footsteps. And in Washington, we have this program called Running Start, where when you're a student, if you're in high school and you test into it, you can get you get the ability to go to community college for your junior and senior year of high school. So you can do college courses, get your associate's degree, that's the idea, while still being a high school student. So you basically save on 2 years. But the real value, in mine and Will's opinion, was you had to go to school for only 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Because college classes, you only need 3 classes a day, and they're about an hour apiece.
Yeah.
So Running Start meant we could get out of school earlier. If you could get out of school earlier, that means that you can go to work.
Yeah, go help out the
business.
Yeah.
So he and I both did that. He did it first because he's 3 years older than me, and then I did it. And so we've both been working full-time in the business since we were like 14, 15 years old, you know?
Man.
And in 2016, and again, like we're doing tailoring and shoe repair, and the vision has always been like, can we make boots? Like we really want to make boots. Can we make boots? Because we know that that's like where the money is. We know that we know that that's where there's a future. And that's how you can scale your business. Yeah. And because shoe repair is like, you're only going to go so far.
Yeah, dude.
But actually creating this product and making it, and we know that it's in demand, like, man, that's cool.
Dude.
Like, that's exciting. You know, that's something to get jazzed about, you know?
Yeah, because, like, not really a ceiling, right? Like, in the repair stuff, it's like there's a little bit of a ceiling there.
Yeah, your local little, you know, shoe repair economy, that's your ceiling.
Yeah, dude.
But with boots, I mean, like, there's ultimately no ceiling. Like, you can go as far as you want to go. And that was always really exciting to us. We're very ambitious. We're driven. We just, you know, we want to grow for growth's sake. Like, we want to win because we want to win. You know, you want to dominate because you just want to dominate. It's
dude.
There's no like other excuse. It's just, why do you play a game? Because you want to win.
Yep.
You know, why do you compete? Because you want to be best, right?
Especially when you guys' name is behind it. You
of
know?
course,
like
yeah,
JK,
of course,
right?
yeah. It's like our family thing. You know, we're like living on this business, right? So, very competitive people and very competitive drive, and we want to win. There's no other reason. You just want to win.
Well, and that's why, like people said before, like the reason why we're such a strong country is because of folks like you and your family. You know, like you said, starting from the beginning in Ellis Island,
exactly,
bringing these skill sets, and then have the opportunity to like expand as hard as they want to work,
as much as you want to go, like very free. You know, like you can go to the highest level that you want to go to, and when you want to stop, you can stop. You know,
totally.
So, so that's totally what happened. So, you know, in 2016, we had been making boots here and there sporadically since like 06, call it, you know?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super dialed in because it was just my dad, or it was just me and my dad and Will, like doing very small numbers and like totally, you know, you have to come to us. Super customized, crazy stuff, you know, and like mostly people who had foot issues, like medical conditions, or somebody who was just like really picky, you know, like there's those people too, you know, they're really difficult to work with.
Well, I was gonna say too, especially in fire, like you have that, right? Either super picky or some kind of weird foot that just like
so much.
You can't just get a boot off the shelf.
Yeah, it's like insane.
And that's how I heard about you guys, like back in the day,
yeah.
Because like guys were coming to you.
We would take on those jobs, you know. And the truth is that's really only like less than 10% of the category, you know, and the other 90%. They have normal, healthy feet. They just need access to a good boot. But like that 10%, like I said, because we were so small, it just seemed like that's all that we were taking care of. You know, that's all that we were doing.
And people would travel, man.
And people would travel for that, you know. And so it was like I said, it was like sporadic. And then in like I said, that 2015-16 time period, I remember we made a website. I made an Instagram account, Facebook account. And we started going to like fairs, like our local fairs and like trade shows and fire academies. And started doing a little bit of travel, logging conferences, and like we would go to a logging conference and we'd sell 10 pairs. Oh,
dude,
pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll take it. You know.
Yeah.
We would go to a fair and we'd sell like 12. Oh, okay. All right, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You know? You just kind of kept doing it, and then when I started Instagram, people would I put our phone number in the bio of our Instagram.
Yeah, dude.
So people started calling, you know, and it was like, wow, like. This is working,
dude.
You know, like this is working. And I remember we would like get reposted on like a wildland firefighter Instagram page, and we'd get like a couple orders that day, you know. Man. And it was all made to order, so because we had no inventory, because we couldn't make inventory because we were busy, you know, doing everything. We cut, sewed, lasted, bought, like we made the boots from A to Z. I knew I still can't do everything. Will, my dad, everything.
Yeah.
So we're like answering the phones and like building boots all at the same time, and you know, doing custom fit sheets and all this crazy stuff. And we did that and expanded that and did that type of business for a few years, probably like comfortably into like 2020.
Dude, we're just like waking up at work, like just
literally
around the clock.
Bro, I'm not even joking you. Literally, like
I bet, man.
My life from like 15 years old to honestly, I could say really not that long ago, has been day in, day out, all day. You know, and it's just looked different because for the first 5 or 7 years, it was me physically with my hands. No, not me, more than that. You know, for the first 8 years, it was me physically with my hands getting dirty, like making stuff, fitting people, building their boots, doing all that stuff, right? Yeah. And trying to run a business at the same time.
Yeah.
And really only recently, as we've gotten better and sharper and more dialed in and smarter and have more people on our team, have I been able to, and will as well, like actually focus on having a better business. Like, how do we have a better business? How do we have a better operating business? How do we take care of people better? Because you know, like you can't make your systems and business better and ultimately service customers better if you're stuck in the trenches doing all the work.
You got your head down.
You just got your head down, and so things would slip. You're late on something. You make a mistake. Somebody has a bad experience. You didn't get back to an email on time. You didn't call somebody back. Yeah. And sometimes firefighters, they can get so emotional and they're so like, dude, just like I ruined the, man, I just think of a story one time. There was this girl and we were late on her boots, I think by a few days or a week. And she was like starting her season. She got hired as a seasonal, as a, for the summer, and she was supposed to report by like a particular day.
Yeah.
And the boots weren't done, and that's wrong. We're wrong. We're late. It's our fault.
Yeah.
And I remember we called her and we're like, hey, like she called in to see where they're at, and we're like, hey, like they're not done. Like we're so sorry. Like, can you give us like a few days? Like we're gonna finish them and we'll like literally like next day air them to you, like wherever you're gonna be. And I just remember her on the phone, and she like, dude, it was so uncomfortable. She started crying.
Oh no.
She started saying that we ruined her career. We ruined her ability to be a firefighter. She'll never be a firefighter now. We felt so bad. I mean, obviously this is an exaggeration, but like, we should have been on time. Like, and it sucks because that's what happens. You things slip when you're doing so much.
Growing pains, right?
And then we found out where she was gonna fight fire, and we called that ranger station or something like that, the base, and we asked to talk to this girl's. We gave her name. We're like, hey, who's her boss? And it was this. We got this guy. And he was clearly like a seasoned veteran for like 20 years.
Old salty dog.
Yeah, a little salty dog. And we're like, hey, this is so-and-so from JK Boots. Listen, we just want to tell you, it's our fault that this person doesn't have her boots. We're really sorry. We're going to get them done. Like, we just want you to know that.
Yeah. And
he responded like it was, it's funny now, but he was kind of like, guys, it's okay. Like, okay, kind of like we got a couple boots lying around here. Like, it's not a big deal. You know, like take your time.
Yeah, fire season's not happening tomorrow.
Exactly. He literally said something like that. He's like, guys, like it's springtime. Like you're fine.
Yeah.
And he was very like appreciative of the fact that like we did that.
Dude.
But it was very like it was kind of like, dude, like, chill, she'll be fine. Like whenever they get done, just ship them over here and we'll give them to her. So that was like really funny, and I remember that story, and I kind of take it with me because it's like really the goal is you want to have a business where a situation like that never happens. And all businesses all over the world still make mistakes today, and the goal is you just keep figuring it out, what happened, what went wrong, and like you fix it. And that's why I'm so grateful for like the season we're in now, because I feel like we're running and operating better than we've ever done before.
Dude.
We're faster than we've ever been, and we have inventory, more inventory than we've ever had. And like being here in Missoula, being connected to people here, having our stores, getting connected with jumpers, like, dude, that's what's up, man. That's what it was about. Like that was the goal. That's what we wanted.
Goosebumps.
You got the goosebumps. Yeah, like that's what we wanted.
Yeah, man. There's so much history here, and I mean, a lot of people probably say that they're like the capital of wildland fire, but I feel like Missoula's it, man. Like first jump base is here. We got a hotshot crew right here in town. We got district right here. Like so much. The fire research labs here,
and it's right in our backyard. Like Spokane's just a couple hours away.
Yeah, dude.
So it feels very good. Like it feels like, man, like we belong and we want to be here and like plant roots,
Yeah, totally, yeah. I just feel like this cool symbiotic thing that's happening right now, man.
100%. So, like, super exciting.
Not to shit on anyone else. Like, there's some good fire towns out there, but we just got a lot here.
Yeah, I know. And that's funny that you say that because we have a store in Redding, California, which is also a huge fire hub. They have a jump base.
And
they have a hotshot crew. Yeah. They got a lot of stuff going on over there.
Tons of air tankers.
Tons. And we have a store there.
Oh, awesome.
And like that was a really big moment for us as well, because we were like, that was our first store we ever opened, our own brick and mortar store. And the town was
the first?
That was the first one we ever opened. Yeah. The town was like, whoa, this is cool. Like that you guys did that. And we were able to fill a store with boots. This was just 2021. So pretty like further along in our journey.
But pretty recent,
yeah. And like we were able to fill a store with boots, get boots to firefighters. Like that was cool. That was success.
Dude.
Because like now you're hearing stories about like, man, I always wanted to get a pair of JKs. I just was never able to try them on, but now I can. And like people were driving from LA. That's like an 8-hour drive, to go to Reading and get fit.
And they got a fire season that doesn't quit.
And they have a year-round
fire season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like here, we get intense fire seasons, but like in Region 5, like it's year-round. It's year-round, and it's not by choice. No, it's not by choice.
That's why it's its own region.
That's why it's its own region, and it's busy. Big. And it's big. It's NorCal, Central Cal, Southern Cal. And so. We have a store in LA coming soon, so like that's another big one for us. We know that we have so much customers there that are like just itching to like get boots.
Well, that's what's cool about the generational thing, man. Too, like your dad, your brother, you, because like you guys have seen it in different timelines.
100%.
And I think like you being a little younger and having a little more finger on the pulse of like what people are wanting in the U.S. right now.
Yes.
In the USA, like I think people are like dying to have more American-made stuff, like handmade stuff, like your guys' boot. I mean, dude, I was on the webpage this morning just like drooling over all these boots. I was like, damn, dude, like, and your dad did something about a premium boot. I'm like, that is it, man.
And it's also like it's function.
Yes.
It's not just like a coffee table piece,
Exactly.
It's like the guys are using them, but it could be because it's beautiful. Yeah, that's cool. I like they say that. But like the guys are using them, the gals are using them. Like just today, I was fitting a smoke jumper. It was a girl who it was like her second pair of JKs, and I fit a bunch of smoke jumpers today.
Yeah.
But like, dude, she like says like, yeah, I jumped in your boots for like 3 years.
Oh, dude.
Like that's so cool.
And that's mileage.
So cool.
And that's mileage on a boot. Dude.
Yeah.
3 years on a boot. Dude.
Yeah.
And jumping.
Like wow.
Because for folks who don't know, like smoke jumpers aren't just fighting wildland fire season like during the summer, like a lot of places do. Smoke jumpers go down to Region 8, so they're fighting fire year round.
Wow.
Like so like. That's a lot of mileage on a boot.
I actually didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
So it's not just a fire season.
When it's not going on up here, they're going over there.
Yeah, they're going down south to like Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, like a lot of burn go down at Florida, like every lace.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you're wearing those boots year round now.
Wow,
like
that's amazing.
Where before, like you kick them off after fire season and like kind of check the tread and you'd be like,
right. You're fine. Yeah, you're good for next season.
Another season on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny. See, that's why I started by saying we are so like obsessed with how can we make the best possible product, because we know that, dude, we know that these guys are gonna beat these things to crap. Like,
when I saw that little video with the 360 stitch, I was like, that's where it's at.
See, that's why we made that switch, because we know it's better.
Yeah,
and like you can't be afraid of what people are gonna think about stuff, or like you can't like we got some flack about that from like these like other enthusiasts, or like that's not what, dude. I'm not trying to fit any kind of traditional like weird like religious thing.
Dude, exactly.
I'm just trying to make the best possible boot.
Yeah, no weird cult following.
Yeah, no weird cult following. Because you know why? Because when that smoke jumper is gonna be doing whatever, they don't give a rip if it's this. They just need it to last.
Yeah.
They need it to be durable. They need it to, because that's the ultimate goal, right? That's the whole point.
Exactly.
And so like we're so obsessed with that. So that was so cool experience for me today.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, like give a shit.
I
kind of give a little background.
Yeah. So we so we're good friends with Niffy, with Max. Alonzo, and he's
Max.
close. Shout out to Max.
Shout out Max. He's the man.
Dude, he's the man.
Dude, he had so many good things to say about you,
awesome.
and he helped connect us.
Yes,
man.
he connected us exactly.
Yeah.
So I met him like 2 or 3 years ago, probably more, and we had a good connection. And he was kind of looking for. I can't say he was looking for anything specific. He's just open, and he was looking for like partners, like who can Niffy like partner with. And we had a really good connection. We're very similar DNA. We love the community. This whole story that I'm sharing about like our family and our business, it's really only alive because of wildland firefighting. Like it's the wildland firefighters' purchases. It's their business that kept us alive and keeps us alive. And so that's why it's such an important community to us.
Yeah.
That's why we're so grateful for them and serve as much as we can. So like it's very deep for us. And so we had this connection with Max. Max shared with me all these things that Niffy is doing for the wildland firefighters. So, if you're not a union member, you should really consider it. I mean, I'm not even a firefighter, and I would sign up,
just because you know what they're doing.
Just because I know what they're doing.
Getting better pay, trying to get hazard pay for prescribed fire. Folks don't know that.
Yes.
Huge push.
And I don't know the details and how it all works, but like there's Forest Service guys that are like leaving because of pay. Like that sucks. Nobody should have to do that. It's like, this is a job where, you're serving, like, it's public lands. It's serving kind of the country almost, 100%. Right?
Totally is, yeah.
So that's like amazing. Anyways, he came up to Spokane, like we hung out, we had a great connection. And ever since then, we've just been kind of partnering on things. And I had kind of, fast forward to why I was here in Missoula, is I had kind of seen that like the Missoula jumpers, there was only like 2 or 3 maybe that were wearing our boots. The rest weren't. And I didn't know why. And I kind of was like, man, I want to be deeper with jumpers, because with Hot Shot crews, we're really, really deep. We're all over Hot Shot crews, all over all the regions, Type 2 crews, engine crews. Like, we're really, really deep ingrained. And a lot of Helitech guys wear our stuff too.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I'm kind of feeling like we're not like as ingrained in like the jumper community. And I wasn't sure why. I think it's because I hadn't made any kind of connections as the jumper community, like, yet.
Yeah.
With Hot Shot crews and like a lot of the Type 2 and engine crews, we're at academies, we're at trade shows, we're going to like events, and so we're doing like Hot Shot Up volleyball tournament. We're doing like,
that was awesome.
We're doing
man.
all that stuff, and so we're seeing them, and like we're really like, we're ingrained with that community. But the jumpers, I don't know if they do or don't. But it doesn't seem like they would go to those things. They're just not as. It's just a little different. It just felt like it was a little different.
It is, yeah. They're a little more like quiet professional. I guess
that's a great way to say it. Yeah, they're kind of more like quiet professional.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of was like, man, I really want to like get deeper. And I called Max. I kind of shared with him like, how can we like put a good foot forward in this jumper community, because there's a lot of them. It's cool. They're just as much of a wildland firefighter as any other wildland firefighter, arguably, very elite, right up there. Hot Shots jumpers kind of compete, but they're elite, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a little biased, I'm sure.
A little biased. I was gonna say,
yeah.
Wait, you might say jumpers are the best, but that's
I'll let you say that. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah,
I'll let you say
that. Yeah. No, that's just me.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, what can we do? How can we? What can we do? And he gave me this idea, and he gave me the idea, like, just come up to Missoula, dude, and just give them boots.
Yeah, dude. But like, real quick too, like, to give a shout out to Hot Shots, like, they're putting the miles on boots.
They are putting the miles.
So like on them wanting your boots is huge, because I mean, man, Hot Shots are pounding it, dude.
And actually, I would say that they are the use case for us to test how tough our stuff is.
100%.
Because if a Hot Shot can put it through a season or 2. Dude, maybe 3. Okay, you got something good going on.
Yeah, dude.
And so that's like a use case for us, 100%. Not to take anything away from any other crew.
No, 100%. But everyone just knows, man. Though you want the horsepower, you get the Hot Shots.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm just remembering so many like crazy stories of guys like destroying boots, and then like I would ask like, well, what did you do? And this is before I knew a lot of stuff. And then they would say things. Oh, well, I had like 1,200 hours of overtime this season. It'd be like I remember like so San Juan Hot Shots. I don't know if you know that crew, or like there's Arrowhead. We did a lot of boots for Arrowhead. We did a lot of boots for Big Bear. We did a lot of boots for Cherokee. We did a bunch of boots for I'm already forgetting some for Wyoming guys. We did just all of them.
Dude,
all of them.
I got to work with all those crews. Great crews,
and all those guys. And I'd hear stuff like, oh yeah, I did 1,200 hours of overtime, or I did 13 hours, or I did 1,000 hours. I'm like, well, hold on. What does that mean? That means you worked for like 7 or 8 months, like straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. So you worked 8 months straight, and like you didn't have like time off?
Like
no.
2 days off a month or something.
Yeah,
crazy,
exactly. And I was like, you wore these boots for the whole time? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, what fires were you on? And then they would like name off like fires like in different parts of the country. And I'm like, so this pair of boots was in, New Mexico, then in the Rocky Mountains, then in the Cascades, then in California, and then back to, wherever it is, all in 8 months.
Yeah, like Tennessee, like the Cherokee, Tennessee, so it's like you're back to the Appalachians.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, dude, I mean, you're getting every terrain.
And you could be in Alaska and get wet, nasty terrain. Then you could be in New Mexico and get dry, sandy terrain.
Yep.
And then you could be in the rocky, sharp Cascade Mountains. And like this pair of boots was on your feet the whole time, and you're sleeping in them,
Yeah, and like you said, that's a testament to the boot quality, because like the shale, especially, you getting some of that shale, slicey, like sharp stuff.
It just wrecks them. It kills them, And like, so that's why, like, I'm glad you said that. Like, shout out to the Hot Shots, because that was them.
Yeah,
that was me. Okay, making boots for guys. All right, well, what worked? What didn't? what was positive, what was negative, how can we fix, improve? Oh, that was really good. Like, we should do that again. Like, yeah. And it's the best use case because this guy just did 1,200 hours of overtime in them, and he's sending them in for a result or a rebuild. You know, it's insane.
And for folks listening too, like, I'm just gonna say right now, like, check out you guys' Instagram, JK Boots, or just go even your webpage. Check out, do both if you're listening, because I think it was a YouTube clip actually that I caught where you were like had a pair that were coming for a rebuild, or just resole, wasn't it? And you were like
both, yeah. And I break them down and show them and show how they wore and stuff, and like,
dude, the leather was in great shape. All it just needed was like some new rubber.
Exactly. Like, so that's the whole thing. That's the crux. It's like, dude, can you produce a product that's gonna last these insane conditions? You know. So like so much just stuff and knowledge transfer and learning from these hot shots and Type 2 crews, and then I learned like interesting things about how, so like, for example, the one that comes to mind would be like, let's say like a crew that is based in Alaska, and then versus a crew that's based like in New Mexico or Arizona, different environment, and let's say they stay kind of in their area for a good portion of the season. Well, the wear will be different. Because they're in totally different terrains and environments.
Absolutely. And that's kind of how it goes.
That's kind of how it goes, right? You know, and so it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. So how can we, you know, like, how can we develop like leather that's can do both? You know, like, what could we do? That's actually kind of a cool thing about how. So our newest iteration of the leather we're using, we actually coined and designed and like made our own leather with this tannery called in Milwaukee called Seidel, and it's our own tannage called butter tan, and it's 8+ ounce, so it's the thickest leather that any bootmaker is using, and it's fully waterproofed, and it has this special butter tannage, and that the waterproofness came from, dude, like, you're not going to stop a firefighter from walking through a creek if they need to, or like the guys in Alaska who are like in the tundra and stuff. So why not all of our leather just be waterproof? Like, we might as well. And it actually only just makes a tougher boot, because even if you never get around wet or anything like that, you have all of this special oils in the fibers of the leather. It just makes it stronger and tougher. So it was like a win-win for everybody. So that's a great example of how we used the wildland community to like learn and say, okay, well, how can we improve overall in the product for everybody that's wearing our boots? Because we have a lot of also just blue collar, general work, labor, different types of industries wearing our boots too, not only firefighters. And so it's kind of like, well, everybody just upgraded and got a better boot because we were able to test this thing out, you know?
And folks who don't know maybe boot maintenance as much probably aren't having to oil them as much, right? Because it's keeping the moisture in.
100%, 100%. And then like, there's also this element of, man, I'm just so many stories are coming to mind from customers, but like, dude, you know, how often should I like take, you know, I always get asked that question, and you know, we've made a bunch of content, and like we send out a content when we send boots out for you to like watch our videos, but like in the early days we'd get asked that question a lot, and the answer is it could be different for you depending on where you are. That's why this job of being a wildland firefighter is so unique and so tough. It's so hard to like make products for them, right? Because like I said, you might start your season in one place, halfway through you're somewhere else, and then end it somewhere else. And when it's all said and done, it's October 30th, you know, and you're just now getting done, and you don't even know because it might kick off again in November in California, right? You know, like exactly. That can happen. You know?
Totally, 100%.
So crazy.
Yeah, well, like you said, the different even just weather conditions too, right? Like you could be burning piles in the snow.
Yeah.
And then you can go like from that, like you said, to like the hot as hell New Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, desert area.
Yeah.
And like 105 degrees. Like I was at 110 degrees was the average when I was down near like Khadzhi, New Mexico, on fire.
That's unreal.
Dude, like your boots are just filling up with sweat because you're just
That's
like
unreal.
Yeah. Dying. And I was when I saw it was nuts. But like, yeah, if you, like you said, man, the ultimate test case though for the quality of a boot, because if a boot can handle that, imagine like the average person who just wants an awesome boot, who's not going to be put through the ringer like that.
Exactly.
They're going to pass that boot down to their kids.
Exactly. That's the idea. That's what we talk about. You know, we're like make that joke. Like, you know, people ask, so like, how long could I expect? Like, let's say somebody who's like never worn a pair of boots like this. And like sometimes that joke can be like, your kids will wear them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, kind of like that's like funny, you know.
Yeah, it's a what is that?
It's an heirloom.
Heirloom. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
So,
dude, and the heel thing, man. Like I saw on that similar video, maybe a different video, where you're talking about like the reinforced heel with the nails and stuff too, right?
Yes.
Like that's huge, because that's my experience was with some other boots. couple different companies where it's like
that came apart right there.
Yeah, because like they were starting to get slicked off, so I didn't have much tread left anyways. They're starting to turn to cowboy boots, but like the heels were just like super wobbly.
That's why we did this 360 stitch down thing as well. Because now the entire boot around the whole welt all around, it's totally locked in and sealed. Plus it's nail bottomed. Yeah. So it's like you couldn't really pull them apart like if you wanted to. Yeah. You know, so like really the only on our boots, and there's even ways that we can still improve more, like that we're figuring out, and I will continue to do stuff. Yeah. But
dude, like, I need to get an armrest over there. Now I'm looking at you.
That's funny. You know, I just naturally went
over.
It's
like, dude, that'd be nice. Wouldn't it?
Nice.
I gotta get one.
That's funny. Like really, the only thing at this point that can like fail, honestly, it's just now like, okay, can you find like tougher soles? Yeah. You know, like, could we do something there? You know, and then you start falling into like fire rated and like NFPA and all that stuff. Yeah. And so there's you know, we have to follow certain regulations because all of our boots are NFPA certified. Yeah. So there's a specific set of rules that you kind of have to follow with that. Yeah. So we'll never stop. We'll never stop like trying to get better. We'll never stop trying to like figure out ways to make them better. Yeah, and we'll also never stop trying to find ways to like also like comfort.
Yeah, man.
Like they got to be comfortable. I just kind of want to like dispel this like rumor thing about how like boots are supposed to hurt for like a month, you know?
Yeah,
that is not true.
What the old saying, like you don't break in the boot breaks
in you. The boot breaks you in. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, or like I hear it everywhere. Anytime I do a fitting anywhere, I always hear this thing about how you get your new boots, get a bathtub full of water and soak them and walk them dry and walk around. Exactly, no, do not do that. If you're needing to do that, you have a bad fitting boot. You know, like that destroys the boot. Don't do that. And I know that like your dad and your grandpa and your grandpa's grandpa probably did that, but like it's not
weird little tricks, dude.
It's you know, and I actually don't blame them for having to do that because they had to do it out of necessity because there was no other way for them to make the boots work, which is fair and honest, and I understand. Yeah, like
it's just a boot for everybody.
Right. You know that joke? It's kind of like in the army. What's your shoe size? 9, just like everybody else. You know, it's kind of like, you know, and the army doesn't make a mistake. You know, it's kind of like a joke thing, right? Yeah. So you know, same thing. And I put myself on the shoes that were on the boots of like, you know, guys like. Even as short as like 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Dude, not long, man. Like my career.
Not that long ago. Dude, yeah. There is no Instagram and social media. There is no YouTube. No. There is no like, oh, let me get on this website and get the frequently asked questions. You know, it's catalog your local store, and also you're just hoping that the local store guy knows what he's talking about, maybe, right? You know, you're hoping you can get on the phone and call. There's no email, like, you know. It just was hard, dude, and I get it. You know?
You said like the local store guy. Usually it was like some from logger information, or maybe he was a logger, so he has like a.
So boot. It's like passed down. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's just only the only thing that they know.
Exactly.
You know?
Like this is the boot, no matter what. And the problem is with the boot is usually it goes with the brand or a company,
right?
And the company's changed its hands. Exactly. You know, it could be the same name, but it might not be the same company anymore.
Exactly.
And that's you know, tagging on that a little bit is kind of why I think the jump world got away from logger style boots a little bit. Was because. You know, the price is, you know, premium price for a premium boot should be a premium boot, but sometimes it's not a premium boot. Yeah. And so like the price of like, you know, a pair of like Loas or, you know, like I'm trying to think of the one Zamberlins and
just that hiker style. It's cheaper.
Yeah. It was cheaper. So it was like, and the boot stipend we had was less. So it was like, man, I mean, I got to pay a little more out of pocket for a logger that might let me down. It might not last. It's going to last as long as like, you know, a cheaper hiker.
Dude, I totally get it.
But now with you guys though, like the quality, because I think people are doing that a lot where they're going to like what they knew, you know, like which, you know, it's like a White's or Nick's, and then
it's just what's been around.
It's just what's been around. Yeah.
Like to give context to like our viewer, like people listening. So like my dad was born in 1967. Okay, in 1967. White's was already around for like 50 years.
Yeah, that's nuts, right?
You know?
Yeah, they were the first like...
they were, you know, like this, something like whatever, 150 years ago. And that's amazing and that's cool. And I wish all these guys the best. I don't, you know, I zero want them to fail. No, there's enough business for everybody to go around.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, like there's plenty of, you know, and I was told that when we were starting earlier as well by like this one individual who was really high up. and we'll keep him nameless because of the story, but like he said that to me. He said like, hey, there's plenty of business for everybody.
Totally, dude.
And he's not around anymore, and he retired, and he's not in the picture at all. Mm-hmm. And when he was, it was much more civil between the boot companies. But since he got out of the picture, and we started to grow, it got a little bit more like animosity, a little bit more kind of like, which is fine, whatever. We're competitive too, and it's fine. But like there is enough business to go around for everybody. And my point with saying how, these companies, even like Knicks, I think it was like 1960 something, right? Yeah. They're around for so long. But the thing is that's all that people knew.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so
those were the big two.
Exactly. There was no access to like the best. It was just, well, this is what's available. And so what I feel like
it was like team camps, like White's camp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna go. It's just, what does a local boot shop carry? Okay, you carry those too. Okay, I guess
that's kind of what it is, right? Like you said, or they carry one or the other. Like you said, like there for a while, I think you could get Whites. I'm trying to think what boot shop it was, but you can only get like Whites at that boot shop. So everyone just got Whites.
Everyone just got Whites.
Yeah.
Now for us, unique season and opportunity because internet, social media, YouTube. You can actually look, I'm sitting here with you right now doing this. This was not a thing, not even that long ago.
No, man.
This is cool. Yeah. And I get the opportunity. And so now the playing field is much more level.
Yeah, dude.
And it's fair.
Yeah.
And it's a meritocracy where the best idea or product wins.
Totally.
So that's the competition. That's how I want to compete. I want to compete because, dude, just let the best player play.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen it, but like there's this movie called Glory Road about the first black basketball team that played in college basketball ever, and it's a really cool story.
Yeah.
It was like in the 50s and 60s, and racism and all this whatever stuff. But it was really cool because it was the first all black basketball team, and there's this famous quote and scene where, because there were some white players on the team and there's some black players on the team, and they asked the coach, they're like, hey, who are you gonna let play? Because it was like a really hot moment. They're like, hey, who are you gonna let play for this championship game?
Yeah.
And the coach goes, the best player will play.
Yeah.
Regardless of color, ethnicity, age, whatever. It's like the best player will play.
Yeah, you're in it.
You're in it. That's fair.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? We're competing to win. So in this instance, in this scenario, the best boot should win.
Totally.
So that's it.
And as the consumer, the firefighter, I was just going on rumors. Like I talked to you usually try to find like the guy who's got the most fire experience. Like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like checking out his boots. I was joking around with the guy I was working today. I was like, everyone kind of teases like girls for like, oh, shoes. But fire folks are just as like
just as much.
As much. Hey man, what you got on your feet? Like always checking out each other's boots.
I like that.
But like that was all it was. Like you talked earlier, it was just like who that was a badass firefighter and what they were wearing and like how it made him feel. And then, but that was about it. But now you get to see under the hood, man, or behind the curtain and be like, how is it me? Like me just watching your video. It's just like, damn, man, like that sold me right there. I was like,
education. Just telling people how, how it is. And also like the DNA, I use that term a lot because I think it's like, I'm sure you can resonate to this. Like there's all these different jumper bases, and I'm assuming that they all probably have their own little bit of unique DNA.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Each one's got its own culture.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Now, they're all ultimately doing the same thing, right? Yeah. They're wildland firefighters, and they're jumping. Okay. Yeah. But they all have their own culture and their story and kind of like stuff. And one base isn't going to do it quite like the other base. And it's...
Yeah, even the rookie trainings are a little different.
And probably, I'm assuming, but probably each base thinks it's the best.
100%.
Okay. And you should.
Yeah, as you should. Yeah, it's the pride thing, right?
It's the pride thing. Yep. And, hell yeah. Like, you go to the grave saying that this one, is it because I was there and we're committed on. I love that.
Yeah.
So, DNA. At my company, the DNA is me, my brother, and my dad. And that's not going anywhere.
No,
and so the DNA is we're fighting to do this, we're fighting to be that. We know that and we're driving. And I'm not worried or insecure or up at night thinking about anybody or anything else because I know who we are and where we're going and what we want to do. And I'm 100% committed to that.
And your product, right?
Like, and my product, exactly.
Yeah, you don't care about like what Whites or Knicks or anybody else is doing,
I really
right?
don't.
Like,
I really don't. I'm not thinking about it.
No, man. And as they should be doing the same, right?
Exactly.
Like just tend their own shop.
Exactly. And you just focus on being the best that you can possibly be. And so like that's translating into reality because we're seeing that. We're seeing how we're seeing how the fire community, like, we're growing in the fire community.
How they're responding.
I just see how they're responding.
Yeah, because like in my timeline, dude, logger style boots were dying. Like,
really?
Yeah, because originally Sportivas came out when I was.
So what
starting.
years was that? What years was that?
So like around like 2000. Well, I'd say a little bit earlier because, like, I guess in my community in Whitehall, like a logger style boot was pretty popular. Like a lot of you know country folks were wearing like some kind of like high heel kind of logger style boot.
Yeah.
And so I guess I was kind of aware of them then, and they felt like they were pretty quality, but also they were killing your feet. Like it felt like not that comfortable.
Yeah.
And so like, and then 2008, I believe, was my first year in fire, and I didn't know about any other boots besides logger style boots, and Red Wings was like the only thing I could afford at the time.
Crazy.
So I got like a pair of Red Wings that really weren't made for like hiking the hills, dude.
Close.
And the heels fell off them suckers. But like, it was a bad deal. Like after like not even a full season, but they were low end boots, man, and they weren't really designed for that. So like that is what it is. But then I'm trying to think, like, I think my third year I saw a pair of Los Sportivas, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But they're still like a mountaineering boots. They're stiff for like a hiker style boot.
Yeah.
And then, and they even say it, like Sportiva even says like, hey, not made for like direct, attack fire. It's made for like, indirect fire.
Mountaineering.
Like, mountairing. Yeah. Like the glue and everything that holds that boot together.
Yep. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah. It doesn't handle the heat.
I actually was just talking to the soup, I forgot from which hot shot crew, at this event, and he said that no, I can't run in these things on like direct hot ash.
Yeah.
Because it won't do it.
Hold up,
sorry to interrupt you. Keep
no,
going.
totally. But that's tagging into what I said, or what I was talking about. Like you're tying right in there. And then like so. I was like, oh man, well, I kind of like that idea because, like the idea was lighter. It really wasn't that much lighter. And then when I went to go jump, I just knew I was going to put some miles on. So, like, I didn't have time to break in a pair of logger boots because that's how it used to be.
Right,
like, you had to put some time in them suckers. So I got some Loas. And they were good, man. They were, like, super light, but they didn't last very long. Man.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of skinned off, like, pretty quick.
That's the crux of it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, too much heat, too. Like, they delam and stuff. So, like... they're good for what they are.
Yeah,
but like,
and we will make a hiker.
It's in the
because
works?
Yeah, of course, 100%. Because people do ask us for that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make it our way. So I'm still figuring out how quite to do it.
Yeah,
we will do it. I'm close. And so we'll R&D, and like I'm excited about that. I've got some people in mind to R&D it with, and we will do it. But this logger style, there's a reason that it's this tank.
Yeah, dude.
It's because it's this tank. It's like it's hard to replace. It's really hard to and when you do it well, when you do it right, man, it's a freaking machine.
Yeah, and it just like something that you can have for a while, like that. Like your videos where you're just rebuilding a few, man. Like that's incredible. And that was how it was when I first started. Was that, and then it just seemed to kind of like slide away. So folks were like I kind of mentioned earlier, was like, well, I could spend like twice as much on a pair of boots, and then get about the same mileage as the hiker. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go with the cheap hiker.
It's disappointing because you're paying like you said earlier, you're paying a premium price, but it's like lasting as much as the hiker would last. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, for a throwaway boot. Yeah. Like, hiker's more of a throwaway boot.
Right. So my goal, or like I'll say my vision, what I see is I see potentially every wildland firefighter actually having two pairs of JKs, where it's like one is that tank and one is that hiker. Yeah. And I can see that because I feel like fire's evolving, and the way that fires are fought is evolving. Is that true?
Yeah, kind of, man. I mean, it's always evolving, right? Like,
it's always been evolving.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, or what I mean, is like,
we're getting away from like, we're getting back to more direct attack. But there was a time where it was like big box, not as direct attack.
That's kind of what I think. What I'm trying to say, and I don't know if that's even going to stay or come or go. Maybe a better way to say it would be like, I would say like generationally. So I feel like generationally, there's now this group of people that they kind of just want to wear this hiker boot, and that's all that they're really interested in, and that's fine. Yeah. And I want to make a boot for them. Yeah. And I want to be able to say, okay, if they're going to wear a hiker, they better wear the best damn hiker that they can possibly kind of get their hands on, right? So that's kind of where that idea is coming from. And
fire folks, man, that's what they want.
If that's what they want, that's what they want.
Like best quality is what I mean.
But best quality, absolutely. And I feel like we see we still see this like huge. Yeah, I mean, if I put an analytics chart on a map or on a whiteboard, I can show you how every year we sell more fire boots than the year before. Oh, and I love that because that tells me that we're winning new customers. Yeah. And every year we have more new customers, meaning there's more people who are interested in trying. They try, and our return customer is still very high and continues to grow as well. So people get in, they like it, they stay, they keep coming. And that's like, wow, like that gets me excited. Like, I feel like I have so much energy right now talking about it because it's like, I just want to go and like freaking make boots and like just make them awesome and make sure that people love them. And when people say good things about them and how they're performing, wow, it jazzes me up.
Dude, yeah.
If I hear something went wrong, dude, I need to figure out exactly everything that happened and why.
Like worse than a breakup.
It's like 100%. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay,
right in the feels.
Where exactly? You know, like what went wrong? What happened? You know, and because like, dude, what do you mean? Like, this is what we live and breathe to make the best possible product. Like, what are you talking about?
That's
what
you do.
Yeah, it's like what happened? You know, so so huge thing. Like with this pursuit to keep making it best and. That's why I'm glad you brought up the hiker thing because, like, yes, you know, we are going to do it, and it's going to be awesome.
That'd be awesome,
and it's going to be the best one. And so that's like the motivation. You know,
that's about you're getting everybody right. Like,
right.
There's no one who's going to be on a Fireline that's not wearing one of those.
One
right?
or the other. Yeah, exactly.
So you're covering them all, dude.
And trying to cover them all. Yeah.
And you know, people like once they find something they like, especially your brand, like, dude, they're in. But if we're being honest, the look is the logger. Like if you see a wildland firefighter, you're looking at like, you know, big heel. And,
it's like chunky sole, right?
Chunky
you know, it's
soul,
like
yes.
That guy's a firefighter. You know,
yeah, exactly.
And to your point earlier about
green pants,
yeah, of course, you know, and then they do the Velcro thing at the bottom.
Oh yeah, man, like blouse them.
Mm-hmm. To your point earlier, like about how it was either one or the other, like either whites or nicks available. You know, back in the day, like that's changing so much. And it's been changing because of the day and age we're in. It's changing because of this, how it's the best product wins, right?
Yes.
And it's also changing because of like, dude, you got to fight.
Yeah.
You got to fight. You got to fight. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep stuff up. You got to go. And yeah.
Yeah, and the boots and feet are the livelihood of a firefighter, you know.
You know, I think people don't realize that. Like people who aren't firefighters, they don't understand how important it is.
Dude, you as you know, man, like get a bad something bad on your foot, on your feet, like
it's game over.
Yeah, boot, sandal, whatever, like it zaps your energy, man.
Yeah. Actually, I'm curious, like can you recall any story of like maybe a crew member or something like that and it was like really serious and did you guys have to do something? Like, how does that? What happens if that happens?
Yeah, dude, it's awful, man. Like, you know, depending on the crew member, but yeah, like, there was a few different. I mean, like, pretty sure every fire when I was coming up, especially in like the Type 2 world, like folks who just don't know and they're not wearing right socks, having broken boots, wearing probably cheaper boots, and they're like filling their boots with blood. You know, like heels and toes because they didn't get sized right, so their toes are smashed in the end of them. You know, or and like even like lacing them up, like. Not really knowing how to lace them. You know, like white bite is a huge thing, which I don't know if you guys.
I was just teaching the guys today how to lace up properly to avoid this instep bite. And actually, I feel like we fixed that because of like the softness of our leather. But anyways, keep going.
And that's pretty much all I was saying. Is like the white bite, just toes getting smashed and
that's so wild.
Yeah, because like as soon as and because like or if it just doesn't fit in the toe box very well, you get that rub as you're going, even if you're just walking on flats, right? Because most of the time people are getting a monster blister on your heel, like because that's where
it's
you're getting
slipping.
A lot of movement. Yeah. And on a hillside, like downhills we're getting upon your toes, uphill you're getting more of that heel slip.
That's game over.
It's game over, man. Even the best pair of socks aren't going to save your feet from that shit.
That's crazy.
And
I can't imagine.
A lot of folks have known who had just blood in their boot, dude. Like they get out of the day and their sock would be soaked and they'd be pouring blood out. It's like, and that's not an exaggeration. That's how it was, man. And
that's unreal.
Tough people, but the problem is like if you do that for a 14-day assignment, man, like you might be fucked. Like you might not be able to go on the next assignment because you know how long it takes your feet to heal.
It takes a while. Yeah,
so they're walking around in sandals and embarrassed sometimes because
that's crazy.
They can't even get their foot in a tennis shoe.
Yeah, I'm you saying that reminds me of why we wanted to open stores. Yeah, because the ability to come in person is just so valuable.
Yeah.
Even though we do a lot online and like we have sizing guides and it's easy to exchange and people do that all the time. It's totally fine. But like come in, touch, feel, try on, huge.
Yeah, totally.
And that's part of like we need more of that. And so we're going to continue to open stores. We're also going to this is going to be new for us, but we're going to find good distribution partners. We're going to find those guys that those retailers that they have their stuff dialed in.
Yeah,
and they know what they're doing, and we can trust them, and then we can say hey, to our customers that are here, we don't have a store in your area or something, dude, go here. Yeah. Because we have boots there, we trust that guy, and that's gonna make the experience for our customers so much better. Dude, yeah,
100%. Like when I was talking to Max, and he told me you're coming to town to size up jumpers, I was like, man, I gotta figure out how to get away, but I had a busy day because I was gonna try to come bug you guys. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been sized for
the right way, right?
The right way, ever.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about it. I think skates, but skates a different kind of boot.
It's a different kind of boot. Yeah.
That's the only thing I've really been sized for, and it wasn't even great. So I was like, man, I was trying to cut loose to come bug you guys.
That's funny
because you were setting up shop today, like you said, man, and you were just giving away boots today.
Yes, that's what we did. Dude. Yeah, that was so cool,
so honestly. Awesome, man.
And I'll tell you, so it was done in the museum. Right by the airport.
Yeah, Museum of Mountain Flying.
Museum of Mountain Flying, where Miss Montana's over there, and everything.
Yes.
And dude, it was cool. We did it right in front of the Smoke Jumpers exhibit. Dude, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, man.
I met guys that I would say are legends probably in the community.
100%.
I met Bob Beckley.
Yeah, I know Bob well.
What a guy.
Oh, dude.
Super cool. And Max told me all about his story, and
I got injured and couldn't jump anymore.
I know, and just wow. And the Pulaski's thing, and he wrote the book about how to use an axe properly.
Yeah.
240 pages, Dude,
the axe manual.
That's so cool. Yeah. And all the things he's doing for Niffy, and then actually fitting the jumpers. I was fitting this guy, John, and I'm like, when was the last time you jumped? And this is I was just fitting him 2 hours ago, and he's like, oh, this morning. I was like, what? Yeah. He's like, yeah, we jumped this morning. He's like, and we jumped yesterday. And I was like, you jumped out of an airplane this morning? He's like, yeah. He's like, I've only been doing it for 20 years, and I just thought that was so funny.
Dude, isn't it wild?
It's just wild to think about that, And I asked also somebody, I forgot who I was like, hey, they've been doing it for 5 years or something. I was like, do you count your jumps? He's like, I actually think today or yesterday was my 100th, but I'm not sure,
Yeah, you have a ballpark range.
Yeah, ballpark range in your head. Yeah. And I was like, man, you just said it so casually, that's amazing. And it was just really cool. So yeah, we ended up fitting, I already forgot how many. It was pretty much everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we actually I just donated them. It was just a gift.
That's huge.
And the reason was, it was because of Niffy. It was because of the Niffy membership, the union membership, and it was because we honor this base, and I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back to this community. I wanted to give back to wildland in general, and I just wanted to show support, and I wanted to show that we're behind these people, we're behind this team, we're behind these guys, and we believe in what they're doing, and
especially you being young, man, is huge buy-in, because like we talked earlier, a lot of times when a boot manufacturer ends up kind of losing some quality to you because whoever the original was,
right,
retired, left, passed away, maybe,
right,
where it's your dad's not that old either, and he's still around.
Not. He's still around for a long time. Yeah,
and then you're super young, and then what'd your dad learn from a guy who was in his 80s or something?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that video he's talking about Thomas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So really special. We're gonna be doing this. This is, we're in it. We're in it to win. Like I said, and I'm excited to see these jumpers use the boots, and
totally.
I have their numbers. They're gonna. I hope that they. I'm gonna text them and be like, "Did you show me pictures? How are the boots doing? I want to know. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, and that gets huge buy-in. Not only hey, I believe in this boot so much, I'm gonna give you it to give it a try.
Exactly.
And then
who better to test? It's other than Hot Shots jumpers. It's
exactly.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then also like I said, seeing someone you're as young as you are, being well, shoot, man, the rest of my career I can keep going to JK because it's not gonna change.
Yes, that's cool. That's a nice thought. Actually, I don't really think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, come on the firefighter side of things. That's my thought, because I'm yeah, I mean, even the Paraloas I had, man, loved them. They skinned off super fast, but then whatever happened, probably manufacturing, right? They just found a cheaper product or whatever it might have been. But the second pair I got did not fit like the first pair.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
It is tough, and
that's tough,
And then not getting fitted also, right? So
it's just a bummer, all the way around. It's hard. Boot manufacturing is hard. It's it's kind of like the land that time forgot, because
it is, dude.
The rest of the world seems to have levels of innovation and change and automation, and that exists in shoe and boot manufacturing, but it like gets stripped away based on the product that you're trying to make. So like if we take like sneakers, you know, it's like it's simple and there's not a lot to it, so easier to automate, you get faster, you get more efficient.
Yeah, and you kind of find a brand that fits you better.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And then, well, with our boot, for example, there's so much to it. It's high quality, right? So it just makes it that much harder to do well consistently. Yeah. That's why like I'm so proud of us, because we worked our tails off to like get to a rhythm with our shop, to get to a rhythm with our flow, with our line, with our manufacturing, where it's like, dude, everyone's dialed in, the processes are dialed in, materials are dialed in. You know, now it's just maintain.
Yeah.
Just maintain, you know.
Maintain the quality.
Exactly. Maintain quality, maintain culture. And when you find opportunities to improve, execute.
Yeah, dude.
You know, when you find opportunities to get better, execute. When you find opportunities to improve on the material, execute.
Dude.
Because it's, you know, the other trap is, oh, it works. Don't touch it. You know, it's exactly. Like, well, that's not quite right, because what if you actually found something that was better?
Yeah.
You know, and then you're actually robbing your users from experiencing a better product, you know?
Just like the leather thing you mentioned.
Just like the leather thing, like, you know? We didn't have to change it, dude. No, we didn't have to do it. We didn't have to do it.
The business was probably doing just fine.
Oh, of course. Of course. You know, we didn't have to do it. But, you know, Will and I are sitting in an office and we're like, dude, we don't like our leather. Like, we think it could be better. Imagine how our customers feel, you know? Or like the 360 stitch down thing. We're like, we tried it. It was actually Will is the one that pioneered that.
Oh, it's awesome.
And dude, it's so awesome how he did that. It was so special. But anyways, and we're talking it through, and he's like, dude, I would do like, I think this is better. Like, it makes sense to me. And like, we're explaining it. He's explaining it to me, and I'm kind of like pressure testing, and I'm just like, yeah, like, it's just logical, you know? And so when you find opportunities to get better, you execute.
Totally.
And once you get to this rhythm, you got to fight for that rhythm. And it's so, you know, a flywheel in a car, it's like, it's really hard to like spin it up. But then once it gets spinning, you just got to keep it flowing. You just got to keep air going, keep the fuel going, and it's going to go. And so that's kind of the same idea here.
Man.
So our future looks really bright. We're super excited. It's a great season. 26 is going to be probably the best year for sure we've ever had on all fronts,
dude.
And 27 is looking even better, and we're just excited, and I'm really bought in. Like, we're really dialed in right now,
dude. Well, and that's why I was so stoked to meet you, and just from, you know, what Max was saying, and then even like the one video I saw, you know, like, I'm just fanboying you hard on this whole thing, but I mean, you had like a band in there just the other day too in your shop.
Yeah, we did. That's funny. Like,
that is awesome. Man, you know, and they're not probably not getting like a fire boot. They're probably getting some.
They got some casual, more style boots. Actually, we do some Western stuff, and a guy walked out with a pair of cowboy boots. I have a great guy on my marketing team who just is very like well connected, and there's this great country musician, Cameron Marlowe, and he was in town, and so Romans was like the guy that works for us. He's like, made this happen, and the guy came by. We fit him in his band. Dude, that was really cool.
It looked like a great hang just at you guys' cool. shop, like in the couches, man.
Yeah, exactly. We gave him a tour. We fit him up. We just hung out. We talked. We got tickets to the concert. You know, they'll be back. We'll go see them again. Like, fun. That's fun stuff. That's like, those are the moments where it's just like, like, like feeling something. You know, it's like feeling good. Yeah. And I also want to say that we're this is a fire podcast and we're in a fire town, but we don't only serve firefighters. You know, we serve a lot of industrial professions, hardcore type stuff. I mean,
because
anything and everything you could think of.
I was gonna say, folks, listen, you could just go on the webpage for JK and you have different boxes of like fire boots, and there's a section, and then you got like work boots, casual,
exactly, all that stuff. Yes, 100%. Just to name off like a couple of like professions, anything that has to do with like welder, pipe fitter, boiler maker, that really goes really wide. We take care of all those types of jobs, all of your trades jobs. So, you know, construction, plumber, HVAC, electrician, iron work or metal, metal fabrication, any type of trades. And then it kind of also goes like into the unique stuff, linemen, oil fields, the loggers. Still, there's way less of them, but still,
there's not that many.
And then there's like millwrights, and then just kind of this also. I think there's kind of like an unsung hero in like the blue collar space, but it's just like I would just call it the general like shop type of job where like you're on a concrete floor. You could be a machinist, you could be a warehouse worker, you could be a mechanic, you could be some kind of refurbished type job. Like there's so much of that where
custom
guys
woodworker,
all that stuff. There's so much of that where guys are just on their feet all day, like on a concrete floor. I hear that so much. And we make boots for those guys. So fire is like, I would say a good strong 50% of everything that we do. And then the other 50%, it's dispersed between all these other types of people,
which is awesome,
which is really, really cool. And so it's a huge testament to the quality of the product because it can serve the guy that's, out there at the lookout, right? Yeah. And then also the guy that's out there, dude, he's a boilermaker at a local union in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like it can serve both of those people.
Totally, or someone business casual kind of
totally,
deal too, right,
totally.
man?
We see that, totally. You know how much I see people who are just, dude, they just want a good pair of boots. Like, you might not even be a blue collar guy, but like, dude, everybody needs a good pair of boots. Like,
totally.
Let's just be honest. It's like everybody needs a good pair of boots. It's kind of like a Yeti cooler. Like maybe like not everybody's gonna get a Yeti, but everybody needs a good cooler. And if you're gonna get the best one, like Yeti's the best one out there, right? It's
been
around forever. And they're awesome and they're true and they're premium, but they're premium price and premium product.
Exactly.
So same idea like with us. It's like
get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for, and if you want the best thing, like where to go. Yeah. So like everybody needs that.
Yeah, totally. And to tag on that just a little bit, I was talking to one of my friends today, and she was like, "Well, I'm not really. I think she's rate card, but she's not like a firefighter, like primary fire." Yeah. And she's like, "So I don't know, am I a poser if I get like a fire?" But I was like, "Absolutely not." Because I was talking about you, like I was gonna have you on the podcast. I was like, "No, like it's a great looking boot." Like
exactly.
I was like, and I told her, about like loggers and just like folks who just enjoy that kind of boot, or like more like ranch type folks or whatever.
We see that all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, so like our that Fire Inlander boot. Yeah. We have another product on our website called the Super Duty. It's the same boot. Just the Fire Inlander has to have that NFPA tag written in and everything, and so we keep it separate for firefighters.
I was gonna ask,
but that Super Duty, it's the same. Because that model, that style, dude, it's been worn by, you brought it up, ranchers, farmers, loggers, mechanics, machinists. It's been worn forever.
Yeah, dude.
It's just a tough, really good boot. And it happens to be that like wildland firefighters, it's such a hard job that nothing else will work. So this is kind of like the only thing that they can wear,
Totally. Man.
And so then that translates over to these other really, really tough jobs where it's like, dude, you think guys like burning through boots in 3 months or 6 months? Heck no.
No, dude.
That's a crappy feeling. It's like you just paid $275 for these, and the toes are worn out in 5 months. And you got to throw them away because you're not going to go pay another $150 to get them fixed. It's like you might as well just buy a new pair.
Yep.
Well, then, but at that point, in a year, you're three pairs deep, and you've spent $900 on stuff that's like not comfortable, not good. Whereas with us, you can come in, you can spend $600 and you have them for years,
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the stipend too. Like, I mean, that's for all, like you said, all professions. But like even the wildland firefighter, like we get a boot stipend. I think it's every 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like you're shopping hard because especially back in my day, you're like, as primary fire, it's like, man, I need something that's gonna last. Because like I said, those other boots that let me down, and not to dog on anybody, like you said, they're just, they're doing their thing.
Right. But it's like 3 years. It's like, man, I need something that's gonna make it.
That's a lot of miles. Like we were talking earlier. Like one season's a lot of miles, but then 3 of those back to back. And
I don't know why they do every 3 years. It's like it's not very fair.
No, I mean 2 would make more sense.
2 would make more sense to me. I don't know. 3 is a weird number almost.
It is. And 3 is like hard, man. Like I mean, you guys make a boot that can make it that long, but like not too many people do.
Even for us, you're getting a resole.
Yeah.
You're probably getting a resole after season 2.
Yeah.
Because the rubber just wears out.
Exactly, man.
It's just you're just gonna wear out the rubber. You're not throwing the boot away, but like you're at least gonna get a resole. Some cases, if it's you didn't take very good care of them, you're needing a rebuild on your second season.
Totally, man.
I don't know why the Forest Service does that.
Yeah, no, I wish they could change that. 'Cause 2 years would make more sense. And I was gonna ask you this earlier too,
Yeah.
like because the limit I'm just imagining in my brain is like Vibram soles like super hard.
Yeah.
So like the only way to get something last longer would be something harder, and then it'd be like kind of like walking on ice all the time because it'd be so hard it's not gripping.
Yeah,
anymore,
I think
right?
there is this there's a grading for soles where already forgot the exact unit numbers, but you can grade it like on its hardness. And the Red X sole that we put on our fire boots, it's one of the hardest.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's because you need it for durability. And there is a line, and kind of like you brought up, like how deep do you go? How far do you go?
Yeah, hard do you go?
How hard does it go? Right? That's
you end up walking on rocks.
Exactly. It's like but then you're sacrificing comfort, but durability, and so you're kind of like riding the line a little bit.
Yeah, probably not as much cushion.
Right. There's other ways to get cushion, but it's still like it's a topic. You're kind of thinking that through. I will say that for fire guys, because let's assume that the terrain is mostly just forest. Let's assume mostly forest. It's a little more forgiving as opposed to if you were on like a concrete floor.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Or just even like asphalt.
Or even just asphalt all the time, right? So there is like a little more grace there. We used to do honey soles a lot more often.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we still do, but just not as much. And I think it's because maybe it's just like it was a trend kind of, but the honey soles were soft.
Yeah, that's why I know some people went with honey soles when I first started because of the
soft,
cushion.
comfy cushion, but they wear down faster.
Yeah.
And the difference is usually like 15% roughly, give or take, so let's just assume that you get a pair of soles that gets you 12 months. Well, with honey soles, you're going to get 10.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it worth it? Is it not? In some cases, honey soles might even go faster because if you talk about that shale, and like in the Cascades or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that'll just slice and dice, a pair of honey soles because it's gum, it's like gum rubber, honey 100%. Gum rubber.
Yeah. I had that with the pair of Contract
just got sliced up.
Yeah, like I was in the Southwest actually, like around Sedona, and just like some of the lava rock, and they had a little bit of shale component, and it, like you said, it's just soft. It's super comfy. Like it's great, and like we talked earlier, like it's a great boot for more like working around like helicopters and more of the like kind of engine work, but like putting a lot of miles on, like hiking a bunch, like isn't like hot shot life or crew life.
Yeah,
like it's depending on where you're at, right? Like,
it depends where. I'm curious your opinion. Like,
hit me.
What region do you feel like has the terrain the worst?
I would say region 3, like, Southwest, because it's so damn hot. It's so like arid and just a lot of exposed rock. And then, like I said, so hot. So even like when you're not out in the woods fighting fire, you're on like some hot ass asphalt too. So I think that contributes to breakdown.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because everyone I knew like around Sedona, like Camp Verde, is just south of Sedona. And man, shout out to those folks on the Prescott and Coconino. Great forest, man. Great folks down there. But like they had Contracts, and that was when I first saw them just getting chunked out. And I was like, shit. And they're just saying the terrain just so rough down there, man.
What region is Alaska?
Region 10. It's its own.
Okay, its own region. Okay, I agree with you 100% because that's the same patterns I see in the wear of the boots.
Oh yeah.
And I would just, the only other region I've tied up with is region 10.
Yeah, dude,
because
of moisture.
Because of the moisture.
Whew, dude,
so it's the it's the extremes of both, and so we have that store in Phoenix. So everybody in like South Ops, like the Phoenix, really Southern California and then New Mexico, they make their way to our store in Phoenix. Yeah. And so we get repairs obviously there all the time too. And man, the boots come by, they're just so dry. They're just bone dry,
Yeah, 118 degrees when I was down there last.
Yeah. And you're doing it for a while, right? It's like all summer it's hot like that, and it's so I would see that a lot. And like if the boots get really dried out, like the biggest thing is oil, right? If you're not oiling them. That's why like when people ask me, I always say in the videos too, you should oil based upon like the need for oiling, like what you see. And I literally bring up an example, like if you're in the hot desert, like in Arizona, New Mexico, you probably need to oil every other week. Yeah. Because if you're standing around in 110 degrees and working, 10-hour days, your boots can dry out. Now, if you're in Alaska and it's wet, it's moist, You're not really, you're fighting fire and working, but again, it's moist kind of conditions. You don't really need to oil them very often. You actually just need to put maybe a coat of grease over them, and like that's all you got to kind of worry about.
Help keep the water out.
Help keep the water out, and then plus if you got waterproof leather, you're wearing our boots, even better.
Do you have like a maintenance like kind of a procedure or an oil? Or
I do.
Yeah, recommend?
Yeah, 100%. So I break it down in a video. You should watch the visual because it's really describable, but I can say it. So like on our boots, you know how like the sole and the heel has like that leather that looks like wood, but it's not wood. You know that part you don't oil. Because that's a veg tan leather that doesn't need oil hydration. It doesn't need any kind of oil upkeep. Everything that you oil is basically everything except that, and then except the hardware.
Oh.
So you know how where the hooks and eyes are, there's like a line of stitching, for that would keep that tongue in place. So below that line of stitching and above the sole, everything can be oiled. Oh, and you can just do like one coat, again, depending on where you are, but let's just say an average. Let's say you're wearing your boots 5 to 6 days a week. You could probably put a coat of oil on once a month. And that's enough. Now again, New Mexico, it's 118 degrees. It's the middle of summer. Yeah. You got to do it more. Yeah. Alaska, it's wet, it's moist, it's been raining for whatever, you got to do it a little bit less. Yeah, and it's leather, it's like organic. It's hard to give it a formula,
Yeah,
how those things are.
Yeah, 100%, man. And folks down in the Southwest in the hot temperature, I'd just recommend keeping a bit, keeping, whatever your favorite oil. Do you have a favorite oil or grease?
Yeah, we've always just been selling that Obanoff's brand.
Obanoff's, yeah.
There's also Hubbard's, which is a good one. And then there's mink oil. And then there's a few different other ones. I already forgot some names. But any oil that's so there's like beeswax based, which is the Obanoff's thing. And then the Hubbard's one is it's like wax based. So any kind of good boot oil that's just a little more quality, that's gonna work good.
Yeah, totally. And like Hubbard's like was giving away a bunch of little ones, so I had like a bunch of little ones, and it's so easy to like throw that just like in your locker. So like if you got some time, and everyone has that time during severity, especially on a district, where it's just like kick your boots off towards the end of the day, or like in a little bit of a lull, man, oil them suckers up real quick,
there you go.
And throw them back on your feet. Just
like that means so much for the longevity.
Yeah, totally. And just try to set an alarm on your phone because, like you say, get more life out of it. And as firefighters down there get.
Yeah. How long were you in R3?
Just periodically. So like cool. There used to be an R3 R1 exchange when I was in fire. So beginning of the year, we go down there and then help them fight fire, and then the monsoons hit, and then usually they'd come back up here because that was how the exchange would go. So during college, not as long. I could make it down for a roll or two, and then when I got out, then it was longer, and then we had a spike base down in New Mexico in Silver City.
Got it.
And that was like where a lot of jumpers would live, in the early season. And I never got a chance to go down there. I fought fire around Silver City, but on an engine, not as a smoke jumper. But man, yeah, I spent quite a bit of time down there.
There's 2 shot crews down there: Silver City Hot Shots and then Sacramento Hot Shots.
Oh,
the Sacramento Hot Shots, they're not Sacramento, California. They're New Mexico. I don't know why they're called Sacramento. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know. And I'm probably following them, and I didn't put that together.
And there's a guy. I won't say his name because I know he doesn't like it, but he's been a close friend of mine, and he now lives in Bend, Oregon, in Prineville, and he's assistant soup on the shot crew there. So maybe that's a giveaway. But
there you go.
He's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and he started on the Sacramento shots, I think, and I knew him when he was still back there, on that crew back then, and he wears like 18-inch tall boots. That's like his thing.
Old school,
kind of like is it Lone Peak that does that? They cut their pants.
Yeah, they blouse them.
They blouse them, up at the knee or whatever. Yeah. There's actually, man, I'm just remembering so many stories. There's a guy, I will say his name because I know he's not going to be bothered by it. There's a guy, Ross Cooper. If Ross Cooper, you're listening, he's been a customer for a long time, and we would make him 16-inch boots. That was like his thing, and I just remember that name because I think I have him as actually a contact on my cell phone. And he used to call me like personally and like put his orders in and stuff like that. I did actually talk to him recently because he ordered another pair. But so that was like you brought up Sacramento. I just remembered that. Yeah. And so those different various shot crews, like based on like their region of where they are, they would like want unique a little bit like different things like on their boots. So
when we used to do leather design.
Yeah. When we used to do more custom stuff, like that was kind of more fun.
That's cool, man.
But anyways, so familiar with like the R3 crews and stuff and how hard they work.
Absolutely,
and,
dude.
Like the terrain, it is tough. It is tough.
The last big fire I seen was down there by Mesa Verde, and Mesa Hotshots showed up.
Yeah.
Like, I just put a call on the dispatch and whoever I could get, and luckily there was a big fire going on. I was kind of dying down on. I'm trying to remember what the heck the name was, but it's just outside of Sedona, and so I got a bunch of resources that were set aside for IA, and so like I had an IA, and they ended up coming down. It was like it was a Type 3 that I was able to kind of keep in a Type 4.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a great fire, man. But yeah, Mesa showed up, and dude, Mesa Hotshots are awesome, man. So shout out to Mesa. And
very professional.
Yeah, and just help me out, man, because I hadn't seen too many fires in Region 3, and especially something that was like shitting and getting when I showed up. Like Air Attack was already on it, and the DC-10, and I can't remember. I got like 4 drops of from the DC-10, and then a bunch of just lats. So like VLAT is a DC-10, very large air tanker.
Very large air tanker. Yeah, I know what that means. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
Then the lats came in. I think I ended up like having a seat kind of finish it off. Wow. And it's just that nasty country. I mean, there's just like. And the rocks are so sharp there, and that's why the kind of tracks were kind of getting eaten up. Like, we got, like, 3 flats on the engine that day. Like, wow. Not that day, but, like, during that tour. Yeah. Like, we got a flat that day, though. And then, but, yeah, Mesa came and picked me up because I was old school. Like, I was like, I'm just going to hike this thing, get a GPS on it, and then kind of get a little better lay of the land, because I didn't really know. I knew there's some infrastructure getting threatened. That's why the Air Attack and the DC-10 was there, because it was a high-risk area, and, like, there was, like, 100% suppression in this spot.
Wow.
Yeah, we just.
Where was this outside of? What town were you around?
So it was between Phoenix and Sedona. Okay. Closer to I think it is Mesa Verde is the town.
So it was it working its way towards that town?
Yeah, it was a ways away, but there's a lot of infrastructure from like water from like a ranch and something else. So there's like a big water tank and a bunch of water lines like for the area that were getting threatened, and that's like it was like. I don't like just like all the, I'm trying to think all the irrigation for the area and like just kind of the water for the spot, like that, whatever it was, the water handling area. I'm trying to think of a better way to term it.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But yeah, it's been a long time, but cool. Yeah, it was cool, man. And like, so the soup of Mesa saw me like working my way around the fire, and I'm trying to dodge the DC-10. It's going by, like, and because I didn't know any better, at the time, like. I tied him with the FMO. His name's Brian, awesome guy, and he's like, man, you didn't have to hike this thing. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just used to hiking, around fires. Just get an accurate GPS acreage and just get a better view of like
what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on. And keeping one foot in the black as I go around, and which is like not good business in that hot temperature. Mm-hmm. So like. The Mesa Hotshot sees me, and he could tell it's me because I'm like talking Air Attack and like calling a dispatch and like working my way around. And also, and part of the reason why I'd hike around the damn thing is because one of the contract engines, it's a Type 6, was at the head of the damn fire and no comms. Like, no one could hit them. Their radio, something was wrong with the radio. I think it broke, and they'd been messing with it, and they thought it had it going in the morning briefing, but then, come fire time, nothing.
That's crazy.
So they're out, and they're just pumping and cruising as they go, and they got the hard line, and they're doing some work, but they're also kind of in the way of the damn air tankers. so I'm working my way over to them to try to get them off, and then I send my Type 6 up there to get contact with them, get comms with them, and then get them kind of out of the way, and at least heads out of the area. So
the lat can go through.
So the lat can go through. Yeah. So.
Was it gonna dump retardant or water?
Yeah, retardant. Yeah. So like, and the DC-10 is huge, man. I can't remember how many gallons it is, but it would have.
I've seen a VLAT do a drop.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
It's cool,
man. Especially in that country, dude.
And
it does so good. Yeah, man.
It's so much. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It really saved our bacon on that one, man. And so I'm working my way back, and it's hot as hell, It's Phoenix, Arizona area, and the Super Mesa comes and snags me, and it's cool, man. He like hucked me water, and then like finished that. And, like, I think he had like gave me some snacks and gave me like a little thing of like Starbucks, like a little espresso shot, a little tiny caffeine. He's like, here, man, refuel. You're doing a great job. Keep it up, and dumped me back at like kind of the heel of the fire, and where I kind of had my little command post set up, and. Yeah, it was super cool, man. And then, Mason went and kicked some ass, had a bunch of engines from the area, man. Just great fire.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. Like, I was just talking to Max today about how the fire community in the fire world, it's supposedly big because it's spread out, but it's really not.
No, dude, especially
it's really not.
Yeah, when you get in those higher levels, like when you start getting into like, IC Type 4, IC Type 3s, or Division, like, especially Division too. Like, you're just on all these big fires, man. And like, depending on what you're doing, like if you're going for place for severity, like I was on that fire, like the only reason why I was even tagging along is to try to get an IC4 fire, because I'd been signed off before, but it had been a little while, and there was like some weird paperwork issues, so I was going down to get signed off before, and or signed off again, and which it did. That FMO was awesome, man. It wrote me a big recommendation letter.
That's
super cool. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a cool assignment, man, and just great experience to get a Type 4 down there, which is like really Type 3, but and then like you said, man, just to build the relationships, and super cool, man. So
yeah, I keep seeing that same principle, and that's why it's cool for us to. I fully understand how I'm not a firefighter and we're not firefighters, but it's also so interesting because we're such an intimate part of the firefighter's like job,
dude.
And so
you're involved in the everyday.
We're involved in it every day, and so it's very cool. It's a very like symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
And I have a lot of honor and respect, and I feel like we see that back, and especially when we're doing what we're supposed to do. Yeah. And then we get fires around Spokane.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm grateful for when we see. I see those tankers fly by. I see those helicopters carrying water. I see that stuff happen. We see the trucks rolling. We see the green trucks rolling. We have a couple hotshot crews in our area.
Yeah, absolutely. Panhandle.
Yeah, exactly. Panhandle right there. Right in Coeur d'Alene. And so like, thank you. Like we get it. We see it and we're grateful. And so it's really cool. It's really cool.
Well, and it shows, dude. Like, you guys do so much stuff with the Wildland Firefighter Foundation too. Yeah, you guys are constantly giving away boots, man, and that's huge. And like, speaking for the firefighter community, not really, but kind of. Sure. Super thankful, man. Like, man, I know. That. Yeah, and I think I can say that without anyone getting pissed off. That speaking for the Wildland Fire community, like that is, we appreciate the hell out of that, man. Like, how much like a free pair of boots goes a long way, man. Like, a long way. That's a lot of money, dude. That's a big chunk of paycheck. Yeah, like if you got to buy your own boots. So appreciate the hell out of that.
Absolutely, man.
And build the community, man. And that's kind of like with the going down and fighting fire and hang out with the Mesa folks and the Verde folks, and then like like doing all the stuff you're doing, man, being the jump ace, hanging out with that, that country artist, like just building this cool community, man. And it's cool to see on the outside.
And we're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the hell.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, man.
This is a good one.
For almost 2 hours.
Was this a good one? Did it go good?
Great, man. Yeah, dude, I appreciate that.
Cool.
Thanks,
awesome.
Tim.
Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks.
Cool. See ya.
See ya.